Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to the Capricorn Crosswatchers only reading. I'm Princess India if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. But anywho, so of course, I'm very late, as I've said in every reading before this one, but this reading is going to cover for the last week of February that's pretty much non-existent into March. So I mean, just go ahead and say March. I mean, I'll pick up on some stuff from in February, but we're just gonna go ahead and say, March and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Wokebook things. It's been a whole ordeal. It's gonna come out nice. I believe it. Anywho, if you aren't familiar with what my Crosswatchers only readings are, okay, let's not do that. They are readings that I do for people who are attempting to cross watch for a Capricorn person. So meeting, you're dating or in a situationship or relationship or whatever it is your kids are calling it these days with a Capricorn person. So we're going to be looking at you guys' energy. Then we are going to be going into their energy, and in the extended, we're going to be looking at how this person thinks and feels about you if you care by then. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, let's go ahead and jump into these cards, my friend. The first card we have out for you, Cross Watcher, is the Four of Pentacles. Interesting. A little bit of holding back there. I feel a vibe of disappointment and hurt there, ironically. Like holding back from someone because of pains that have happened in the past between you and this person. We also have the Temperance card here and the Six of Cups. So what this is kind of looking like to me, Crosswatcher, is more or less it's a desire to come back to a place of stasis with your Capricorn person. For some of you guys, things may have been copacetic and cool in the recent past, like meaning you guys came to somewhat of a stasis, but that stasis was only temporary. And some sort of hiccup or something happened here. For others of you, I'm more or less seeing this as in the very beginning when you met this Capricorn person, the chemistry was high and things were, copacetic, balanced, and, wonderful and whimsical and felt like you met your soulmate and things of the sort. However, things have kind of switched up and changed. I feel this vibe, like I said, of you guys kind of holding back. However, this kind of feels like two different energies of people. Okay, so first group of Crosswatchers, it's more or less in the very beginning, things were super dope in this connection, right? Then things went to like SHIT, right? And then recently things got good again and they've gone back to SHIT, but I think the flippy floppiness is kind of having some of you guys in that group to kind of hold back, like self-protection, if you will. The other group of people, I feel like in the very beginning, things between you and this Capricorn person, it was like that instant attraction. I met my soulmate, like, oh my gosh, I've never connected with someone like this type of deal. And now it's more or less this person kind of holding back from you and you trying to get attention for this person from this person, but it feels almost like a disconnect, if you will, like y'all aren't on the same page, if you will. And then the energy that's coming in with the Six of Cups is more or less just a hoping or wishing or desiring for things to be the way that they used to be. So it's kind of like being in this nostalgic, text just came in from my friends saying that they love you guys. But anyway, but yeah, it's more or less now it's being in a state to where you're reminiscing and thinking about the way that things were in the very beginning and wanting them to go back to the way that they were, in so many words. Now, for this Capricorn person, sweet mother, we have the Six of Swords in the reverse. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So here's the thing. With your Capricorn person, I feel that there's been clearly an epic shift with their behavior. Like I said, going back to the way that things were between the two of you, or if it's the other group where it's temporary, there was an epic shift in the direction that things were going. And now with the Six of Swords and the reverse, I'm seeing this more or less as them falling back into, seriously? I see this more or less as, it's like all of my friends are on the same vibration. I don't get it. Like they all just started texting at the same time. Anywho, but with the Six of Swords in the reverse, it's more or less that they're falling back into bad habits, if you will. And with this Ace of Wands in the reverse, it's more or less, I'm gonna say this two ways. On one side, which is a little redundant, is the passion is kind of gone, like that pizzazz that I was speaking about with this Temperance card that you guys had in the beginning, like that chemistry and all this good stuff. It's like that's kind of died out, you know what I mean? But I'm more or less seeing this, just looking at this Capricorn person's behavior, that's more or less saying to me that their behavior isn't going to change, if that's making sense. It's almost like they've fallen back, and I don't want to say like this is love bombing, depending on how long y'all been together. Because if this is like something that y'all been together for maybe like a month or two, then that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? But that would fall into the category of love bombing. But if this is something that's been a little bit more long term, it more or less would be to me that this is a relationship that's kind of fallen into a funk, if you will, you know? So when it comes to kind of like holding back, I feel that more for my cross watcher, and I feel that it's not because you're like being a jerk or anything. I feel that that's really because you're trying to protect yourself from this. But how it's looking to me for this person, they had an epic shift, but with these last two cards being in the reverse is more or less saying to me that their behavior more or less is not going to change for the foreseeable future, is how I would say that. Oh, wow. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands. Oh, come on. As soon as I started recording everybody, that was my assistant. Y'all, I don't know what's happening. But with this Ten of Wands, it's more or less a feeling of this being cumbersome. And I wouldn't even just say like, that's how, you know, the Capricorn person is perceiving. I'm gonna pull more cards, but I just feel it's almost like the relationship has gotten stale is the word I would really want to say. Oh, child. We have the Queen of Chalices in the reverse. We have the Magician in the reverse. And wow, when I was shuffling and that card flipped kind of like sideways, that was the card, the Seven of Swords. Yeah, dude, legit. And I usually don't say stuff like this, but this seems pretty dead on. It's kind of like, okay, this would be one of those situations where you're with someone well past the expiration date. You know what I'm saying? And with the Queen of Cups in the reverse, this is like on both sides, okay? So I'm saying this not just like to the cross watcher, like, oh, the Capricorn person feels like you're a burden and you're suppressing them. I honestly feel that both people in this connection feel like this. Like, I kid you not. It's like with the Queen of Cups in the reverse, there's some levels of like emotional manipulation to where it's like both of you are like doing things to hurt each other emotionally because it's just kind of like the frustration. So it's like on the cross watcher side, it's like, you know, you're not who you used to be. So it's like, I'm going to ice you out, or I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm going to be passive aggressive, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? To try to get this person to wake up. You know what I mean? And then on the other side of that is just being emotionally unavailable. So this is like an intimacy breakdown. And those of you who've been with me for some time, you always hear me say this when I talk about love relationships and things of the sort. It's like the detrimental factor to every single relationship is when intimacy breaks down. And there's some people who've been in marriages for 30, 40 years and the intimacy broke down year one. And a simple definition of what intimacy is when one partner stops believing that the other partner has their best interest at heart. And when one partner starts to feel that way, the other one is going to feel that way too. And that is when intimacy breaks down and the relationship is pretty much over. So even if you're literally together, for the next 30 years. It's the fact that it's not even really a relationship anymore, because you don't feel safe in it, because you don't believe the person has your best interest at heart. And that's what I'm seeing with this Queen of Cups in the reverse. The intimacy has broken down. And with this Magician in the reverse, it's like a tit for tat game. You know what I'm saying? And both people are disempowered by it. And with the Seven of Swords, it's more or less feeling, I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of sex going on in this connection. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's wearing on both people's self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Because it's altering who you are and how you're showing up, and it's bleeding into other areas of your life. And it's almost like putting on this false mask in a sense, with connecting with each other. And I feel it's affecting both of you guys in different facets of your life, because like when you're in a connection with someone that ends up being kind of like home base, like your reference point, it's supposed to be your safe space. And you think about going out into the world and you don't feel safe out in the world. And then you go home and you don't feel safe with the person at home. You know what I'm saying? So this is more or less like a relationship to me that's well past its expiration date, but it's hoping for something to be something that it isn't. And in order for this to be fixed, it will require like both people to be on board to shift things. But it's really looking like dead in the water. And I know that that's not like, you know, usually there's like, something positive or something, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel bad even leaving it like that, but I mean, that's what I'm seeing. It's like, this literally looks like, and I mean, you would have to resonate with this, so this ain't for everybody, but I mean, this really seems to me like a relationship that's over with. If I were to look at this Wheel of Fortune, that would tell me that, you know, this was a seasonal relationship, like not like, you know, like a summer baby or nothing like that. But I mean, in the literal sense of like, this is a person that was supposed to be in your life for a season. Like both of you were to be with each other for a season. And there's, of course, there's always a lesson in everything. But I feel like this is, like I said, holding on to something well past its expiration date. And it's becoming toxic, if that's making sense. You know, I can't tell you what to do about that, you know, but anywho, I'm going over to my network to do the extended if you care, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to look at how the Capricorn person thinks and feels about you. So if you're about that life, follow me on over there. If not, you know, still come to the network. I love your face, and I will see you guys sooner than later. Know what I'm saying?